Hey everybody, Ethan here, and you're on my side of the room. It's been a long time since I've done an update. I've been sick, not with COVID, thank God. But it turns out there's other stuff you can catch, and that hit hard with a vengeance. So I'm still not completely 100%, but I'm better than I've been. Enough so that we had band practice today as of this filming, so that's good. But there were limitations big time. Anyway, so enough about that. Instead, we're going to talk about something I came up with at home when I'm practicing, especially in advance of band rehearsal. And that is, I changed my mindset about, in this little area that I have on this half of the room, when I'm practicing, it's my section of stage. So if I'm facing Jamie's nail polish, that's the audience, which means no eye rolling, no frowning, no standing around like a potted plant, because I'm on stage. Now, I can't jump around like Van Halen, but what I can do is be reasonably engaging with my audience. So this does not mean that I have to be on 24/7 when I come in here. What it does mean is if I'm facing the nail polish side, it's the audience. And then if I'm facing this stuff, then that means I'm learning something, I'm messing around with something, I'm not on stage. And then that way, psychologically, it gives you a way out. Because you wouldn't stand on stage with your back to the audience, at least not long term. So there's times I'm learning something or I'm just messing around with whatever, and I'm not looking to be practicing as if I was on stage. But when I turn around and face the other way, I'm on stage. And that's really paid off in the time that I've been doing this. It really changes your thought process where you're not just dumbly standing there and just playing notes. I can't sing full on, especially because I practice late at night typically, but I can still do something, and I do use, yank it over here, do use a microphone with ear monitors. So that's the next thing I wanted to talk about, is I try to approximate the stage experience as best as I can. So you see I've got my wash lights. I've got other ones I'll get into in just a moment. But the other thing I was talking to the band about today, I've got this little cheapy sender and receiver. It was about $50 when I bought it, and now I see the price has gone up to about $60. It's still cheap for wireless whatever. And it just clips to your clothes, whatever you're wearing. These are $20 in-ears. These are not the greatest in the absolute world, and this is not for audiophiles or whatever, but for home practice, you're fine. It really gets you used to having in-ear monitors going on. And between my usual wireless that I use on the bass, which I've discussed to some extent, and then that, it's like I'm fully free to kind of roam around my half of the room and be on stage. Now that I'm taking a more active singing role than I thought I was going to in this band, because I really didn't think I was cut out to sing and play bass. It turns out fear is a great motivator, so I'm getting more done on the bass singing than I thought I would. I really have to keep that microphone close because I have to think, again, I'm so used to just practicing like, oh, I'm just going to learn like Walk the Moon, Shut Up and Dance. Yeah, but I have to perform it is the thing. So the days of just standing around saying, I learned this song are pretty much over. To say I learned a song is a misnomer because I can't perform it, really. So practice now means I have to master singing it, playing it, performing it, acknowledging the audience, acknowledging my band members that aren't actually here. The more of that stuff you can do at home, the better off you're going to be. Trust me. Now, we've seen bands, we collectively, as I've brought band members to shows, and we've seen people where it's like, you know what? You don't do this. You clearly don't do this. Like, instead you showed up to the gig and said, "Oh, I'm gonna be on when the lights go up and the music starts happening." Not if you're not accustomed to it. And it shows. I can tell the people that either they do this at home or they've just been doing it for so long that they just are natural entertainers or what the deal is. But in my case, I got to work at it. And so this is the venue to do that. But the band and I were talking about it today, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that they can see it, that, I'm not just standing there at rehearsal dumbly and just playing the stuff. I'm thinking in terms of, we have to actually perform this." So I'll be sure to say stuff like, during musical breaks, my joke is, "How you doing, Epcot?" Not that I think that we're going to land an Epcot gig right away, but it's just a nice little placeholder. It's a way to acknowledge your non-existent audience and get into that mode. Another thing I talked about briefly was, this is not a stuff to buy on Amazon Video, and yet here we are. This was $18 for the pair. The thing that's nice is these are little LED lights that change different colors, and then they change different colors. So I like to just set it on flash mode. And I have two of them pointing in two different directions. And so it gets you used to having lights flashing in your face. You've got the in-ear monitors going on. You got the wireless happening. You got the microphone happening. And again, the more you can approximate the experience at home, the better. So I can't recommend it enough to everybody, especially really at any skill level. But especially when you're thinking about gigging, the place to do all this is not the stage. Don't save it up for man, when I get my first gig, I'm just going to go off. Well, maybe you will, but you know what? It's just, there is a marked difference between bands who know how to be entertaining and how to engage an audience, and bands that just kind of try to make it up when they get there. And just don't do that. I know everyone's different. I know everyone's got their own opinion about what they ought to do when they're on stage, or you don't know what all went into this or whatever, and the crowd loves it and they keep coming back. Well, great, that's fine. But I still am a strong believer that if you can amp up your performance and plus up things any way you can do it, and if you can do it at home and learn it here in the privacy of your own home, then do it. So that's my message today. Well, thanks for waiting for this video. I've looked at a lot of nail polish, and there's more coming. But keep learning, keep playing, and I'll catch you in the next video.